Hi, my orchid friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I will be discussing rootless orchids in further depth. This poor orchid has taken a turn for the worse. All of these dried stringy roots are doing absolutely nothing, and the two recent air roots she grew are completely worthless too. However, they soak up moisture from the air, but not enough. If they could actually touch the water, it would give them enough hydration, or it would give the orchid enough hydration. As you can see, the leaves are dried and wrinkly. The color is lightening, giving signs they're about to just drop off. Fun fact, when orchids are dehydrated and nutrient deficient, they will pull everything they can from the bottom leaf all the way up to the top. The plan is to invert the orchid. Remember, when in doubt, invert, in effort to get the orchid hydrated. When my orchids were dying from root rot and stem rot, it's so unlikely the orchid will live or survive. I have seen ICU setups that will generate little root buds and then it's well on its way to recovery. Or the orchid has one or two roots and it helps in recovery. It aids for faster recovery. But those kinds of efforts never worked for me. Maybe I could have played around with it a little bit more, but it just, in my experiences, they never did anything for me. The only thing it did was cause mold to grow, and then it died even faster. The setup is really simple. Put the orchid upside down with the leaves first into the water. I made a previous video about rootless orchids and it was actually pretty short from my clean water series, but I wanted to kind of elaborate a little more on the science of this situation. I will update you guys on the progress of this orchid right here. I did, however, put those pictures in the beginning of this video just to show the progress after this video was complete. But she's made more progress since then, being that I put out this video pretty late. The second orchid I have here is my Keikes mother. She has really been a trooper. As you can see, there are two Keikes growing here. Presently, she's growing a third one, and as you can see, she's absolutely rootless due to root rot. She's really on her last leg, or better yet, her last leaf. I put her in this big vase, which previously housed my very first rootless orchid. I was really struggling to get her any kind of hydration, and she's made it almost a year and a half like this. I've decided to put her last leaf in water because she recently lost her second leaf that she had, to get her better hydrated. I wanted to add that foliar feed, in my opinion, is key. I give a spray in the morning when the stoma opens, and in the evening as the stoma closes. You can't necessarily hit it perfectly, like the timing perfectly, but that's just my process so far. When I introduced the foliar feed, it really made a difference. It just really popped. Um, and that is seaweed extract diluted into rainwater. And I will link that video down below to explain how I make the foliar feed and what exactly the brand is and whatever. I try to concentrate on spraying the foliar feed on the underside of the leaves or leaf in this case, to increase its chances of survival. I initially had this orchid in a similar vase that was more slender, but the same height. But I moved it to this one for more space, like in the bowl. And because my first rootless orchid transferred to a step down unit. Get it? Step down unit from ICU. No, too soon. Okay, never mind. I've been in ICU before, still. I know how it feels. It was kind of tricky to trying to figure out how I was going to situate this. Can you believe this stem was growing taller than this? At one point, it grew a secondary spike, and this orchid has been something else, I tell you. But anyway, yes, two keikes, and she's still hanging around. After I changed this setup, she started growing another leaf. I couldn't believe it. Sadly, I ran out of foliar feed spray, and there was a death in my family. So I slacked off on the spraying it down on schedule, and she eventually dried out the last leaf, and sad face. It goes to show that foliar ugh, foliar sprayed is important um, for recovery. At least that's what, my opinion. Here we go. I landed on pouring the water into this little Coca-Cola cup, then putting the leaf into that cup, which is really tough to orient the leaf and the stem, or the spike, as to not disturb the keikes. And I will show everyone in a different video the new keiki that just came about this week, and how I readjusted the setup from this. Now that I can't supplement the hydration with the daily spraying, and how that ended up. In closing, the school of thought for me is that if the orchid is completely rootless, how can it get any hydration for its leaves, or for it to grow any new roots? I'm still a beginner, like I've said. I'm a beginner, so I would need more orchids to experiment with this situation, or with having any kind of rootlessness. But right now, my collection consists of only 12. But if you were like me, desperate to keep my orchid alive with zero roots, I hope this video gives you some hope. Um, like I said, I was searching for answers, back when I started, and I couldn't find any videos that provided any insight for saving a completely rootless orchid. All of the videos I saw had, the orchid had like one or two roots. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope I can answer some of your questions. I will be back for an update in a new video, and have a great day. Bye.